Hello everybody, this is just going to be a real quick little video here to show you, I guess if you want to do some window prep. This is actually the little shrink wrap kit for your window. I'm going to go ahead and show it here. This is just one of the little cheap windows in the house. It needs to be replaced. It's still a single pane. It's not high efficiency or nothing, but we haven't really decided to put any new windows in yet. I went ahead, the one thing I did do, because I am doing this late in the year because I like to get as much fresh air as possible, and it's finally time to go ahead and call it quits for having the windows open. I did leave the middle window, or the inside window, up and left the storm window down and had a fan running in here for a good hour or two. Being so this is a bathroom, it does get lots of moisture, and with lots of moisture there's a lot of condensation inside there. Didn't want to leave it trapped for the rest of the winter. So I went ahead and basically dried it all out, got it good and clean in there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this kit on real quick, and I'll show you a couple of steps here in a second. Okay, here basically what this kit comes with is a double-sided tape, and one of the things I recommend when you make your square around the window, overlap your tapes, but make sure you peel back the one before you lay the next one on top. If not, you can't get the underlayment back underneath it, and then it doesn't stick to itself, obviously, and you have a bit of a problem. I also highly recommend starting with a side or top, whatever you're going to start with, and go ahead and peel back like I've done this one just a little ways, have them ready to go, and then you can start. I try and leave my top and bottom for last, and I start at the sides. That way I can kind of smooth it out a little more. So what I'll do is I'll start on the left and the right here, both on the up and downs for the uprights, and then from there I'll go back and I'll have the plastic's going to fold over. Once you get taped up, then I'll peel the top off and actually lay it in. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually get that where you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to give it a try here real quick. Okay, there, we're going to go ahead and give this a try. I did go ahead and get this cut to a rough estimate of size. I'm definitely a big fan of overcutting this. This stuff's pretty cheap, so it never hurts to have a little extra, and as you can see, different size you cut, different spots. This one's got plenty of length to it. And I have folded over, if you notice, this top like I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead, I don't need it to be super tight because this stuff will shrink up. So make sure, like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and peel these down. I'm actually going to fold them at an angle, so hopefully they'll stick out a little better for me. That way, if I can get them to stick out to the side, I'm going to be able to reach them easier. Find my edges here again. Fold my top over the way I want it, so it's facing back away from the window. Go ahead and start pressing that into place. Come over here, pull it semi-taut. Like I said, it doesn't have to be real tight. And then I'm going to go ahead and on this side, on the left-hand side, I'm going to pull down just very slightly. Not very much here. Pull this out about anywhere from 6 to 12 inches. Run my finger down it. Pull another 6 to 12 inches. Do the same again. Once I get to halfway, I feel that's plenty. I come over to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one also down slightly, not real tight. Pull this down 6 to 12 inches again. Basically press that in place real well. Go ahead and pull it down the rest of the half of the way mark of the window. Means, however, you got the other side to halfway. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one down another 10-12 inches probably this time. And then I'm going to come over here to this side and only do the last halfway point. Go ahead and try and get this semi-taut again here. And there's going to end up being a little bit of a fold here. Not really a problem. It happens every year I do this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish pulling that the rest of the way out. The one thing I realized I forgot to do is I forgot to peel back the bottom or the top for the little starter. So I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm thinking about it, go ahead and do that up here. So make sure when you're doing it you pay attention and at least get the starters like I mentioned before earlier on it. That's kind of a dumb move on my part, but that happens, I guess. One of the other things I've noticed, if you do get it kind of positioned really badly, it will peel back off before you heat it up. So don't get too concerned if you get a big fold or wrinkle in it somewhere. If you just take your time and go real slow, you're able to go ahead and peel the film back off and kind of reposition it. So don't get too concerned about it. Just stay calm, stay collective. The other problem, depending on the way your window seals are, not sure. On the top, it's real easy to do because it's just a flat, smooth edge. There's no real lip or nothing, so there's no problem with it. But on the bottom here, I'm going to try and get a picture of it here in a second and show you. Basically right down here at the bottom, as you can tell, the bottom comes down then turns out. You'll want to really pay good attention to push that plastic all the way in there. Maybe get a little extra plastic as you push that into the seam. I'm going to go ahead and pull this the rest of the way off here and show you what I'm talking about. Pull this kind of tight. Make sure when you push that down there, you really shove that back in that corner. So it's going to be a weak spot because basically it's going to be shrinking this direction and it's also going to be shrinking up. So both in and top and bottom and sides are both going to be shrinking in. So you're going to have definitely a weak spot in the plastic, more likely to rip there. So pay extra attention to that location and then go ahead and seam that down. I've had a few people in the past, and I've actually tried to go all the way back in to that back edge of the window frame. Again, I don't think that really helps much because that's where a lot of the air gap is coming, is in that seal. So you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. And basically that's what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and find the hair dryer and give this a shot. Okay, there. I've got my wife's hair dryer here. Hopefully none of you tell her I'm using this for it. Do not, whatever you do not use a heat gun. It's just way too high heat. It's just gonna melt right through this stuff. So whatever you do not use that. I also have this set. I don't know if you can really see here in the picture, but there's a cool, a warm, and a hot. I'm gonna set this on low and on warm. There also is a button on this particular hair dryer I can push, and it turns the heating element off momentarily as I hold it in, which will give me a chance to actually shrink this up real well. You probably won't be able to hear what I'm doing now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys watch the wrinkles come out. I got it set up where I think you can see the wrinkles pretty good. So also, one of the things I kind of forgot to do here, I usually run around the outside edge and heat that glue in real well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast. I did go ahead and run that on high heat, high fan, because when it's up against the wood, it tends to go ahead and absorb some of the heat from the plastic a lot quicker. So it seems to work a lot faster. Here I'm just kind of working back. Make sure, even with a hair dryer, you keep moving. Don't ever stop moving no matter what you do with it, because all you're going to do is cause problems. It's going to just melt through. It's going to really shrink up that one spot way too fast. That's definitely not something you want to do, because you can rip a hole right through this stuff real easily. I just work back and forth, kind of like a painting technique. You want to kind of have a 50% overlap of your last pass. So if you figure the heat coming out of it's about 2-3 inches wide, you're going to want to drop down an inch to inch and a half every pass as you go back and forth. So it does take a little bit. Sometimes you notice where there's one of those wrinkles where there's the crease in the edge. And where that crease in the edge was, it's going to take a bit more because the plastic's trying to shrink upon multiple different levels. So it's something you gotta work at. Just go slow at it. This is no big hurry. It's gonna be up here for anywhere from 2 to 5 months, depending on your winter. So definitely take a moment at a time. Go ahead and spend an extra minute with it. So once I got it tight, I'm gonna go back and hit these tape edges again one more time. That's what we got right there. Then I do recommend going back through. Not sure how well it showed up. Yeah, you can see most of those wrinkles, like I said, are gone. If you're here in person, you can see some of the imperfections in the plastic. That's going to be expected with any of this kind of stuff. It's just real cheap plastic.